Are you noticing or have you paid attention to the ongoing intense push for the apocalypse and like growing emphasis on, I mean, everyone always talked about the rapture, but there was recently that whole rapture talk thing, and I feel like they are trying to usher in the apocalypse using Christian witchcraft. Okay, so something that people don't talk about a lot is Christian witchcraft, because people don't acknowledge what sorcery and witchcraft is, and so they kind of just say that anything that isn't Christianity or Judaism or Islam, they kind of say anything that isn't those things is witchcraft. But what they fail to kind of realize is that crafting or witchcraft or the craft is something that everyone is doing. When you have a lot of people that believe a thing, it creates a thought form energy. And when you have all these really emotional Christians feeling like the end times are upon us, and they are just putting so much energy into this thought form, into the idea of the apocalypse, and they are manifesting this particular timeline. So when we could be using our thought form energy, when we could be using our spiritual manifestation, our putting all our energy towards something like creating a better world, creating the kind of world we want to live in, they are essentially idealizing the end of everything. They're completely nihilistic because they believe it's all going to end, and they're just excited and waiting for the end. But when you do that, it's like you are manifesting it. So the other people are just kind of along for the ride while they completely manifest the end of everyone. So, what are we going to do about it? Because the concern, right, is that with all these people hoping and wishing and thinking and dwelling upon the apocalypse, the end of everything, and then they're going to church and they're praying all the time, and they're their whole mindset is it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. The concern is one, some powerful groups hijack this idea and use this against people using holograms or whatever kind of weird technology, or that they literally just manifest destruction or various horrible things by hoping for it. Because at the end of the day, we all have a decision, as far as people talk about this whole timeline splitting thing, and a lot is just what we choose to believe and which direction we feel things are going in. And we have a choice as far as meditating on the kind of future that we want to create versus living in this narrative, this book that tells people what's going to happen, and then we're manifesting that thing because we think it's going to happen, and we're taking all of the decisions and choice out of it because we're just going along with that narrative, and we're letting people hijack our minds by putting that narrative in our minds. And so I think it's really important that we not let our minds go to that timeline and just try to manifest a better timeline where the earth doesn't go off its axis and there are not just all these horrible things. Because we'll get these ideas in our minds. I used to have this a lot, where I would get these ideas in my mind about pictures of these things that would happen and dreams of things that would happen, and I started to realize that largely these things are implanted into our minds. That's what these the media and the government and the music industry is trying to implant and hijack your mind. So it's really important to take back your mind and to take back the narratives that you want to believe and that you want to see happening in the earth, because if they can get enough thought form energy, they can manifest it. And there are very dark chaos magicians, sorcerers, occultists, whatever you want to call it, that want to create chaos and then harvest that and get rich off of it or harvest the energy from it or whatever, and they don't have good intentions. They just want to hijack your mind and use you as like a battery. And so I feel like if you're in the know, like you have to be aware, and you have to like try to revise this narrative that they've created and contradict it as much as you can.